大家好，歡迎嚟到東廚房。Today I'm going to share my 蜜汁叉燒 Honey-glazed Char Siu recipe with you. Char Siu, as known as Chinese barbecue pork, is definitely a classic dish in Cantonese cuisine. There are so many great recipes out there, as easy as using Char Siu sauce by Lee Kum Kee. Being a born and raised Cantonese, I'm expecting a little bit more than that. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what cuts that we can use and some tricks to make authentic, juicy, delicious char siu in an oven and air fryer. Traditionally, we use pork shoulder butt cut, which is mui tao yok in Cantonese. Due to cuts are different in the United States, I like to buy the whole pork shoulder butt and cut it myself. Look at that fatty marble meat, that's what you want. It's ideal to use more fatty cuts, so other options would be pork belly or pork neck. There is a small flat bone in here. Trim it along the bone carefully and keep some fatty ones to make char siu. Save the rest for stir fry or use it for ground pork, it's pretty good. Some people would cook the pork to absorb the marinade better. Personally, I don't do that since we are going to marinate overnight anyway, and I want to keep the meat texture and juice in it. Cut each slab along the grain about 1.5 inches thick to bake in the oven, 1 inch thick for air fryer. Rinse the pork air dry or pat dry with a paper towel. I love adding aromatics to my meat marinade. Mince 2 small scallions, 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. If you don't have these available, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder will also do the job. Red fermented bean curd is one of the core ingredients in an authentic Cantonese char siu recipe. It gives the char siu a more natural red color and provides a unique umami flavoring. Mash the red fermented bean curd finely. Feel free to mix in all the marinade ingredients listed on the screen here. I like to put my seasoning directly to the meat, that way I can judge the amount of each ingredient. It might sound silly when people say just put a little bit of this and that. I tend to put my liquid seasoning evenly on the meat surface. For dry seasoning, just evenly sprinkle around the meat. I try to avoid using salt directly since it will dehydrate the meat. Especially for long time marinating, soy sauce, fish sauce, or any liquid seasoning are what I use instead. I would use salt for anything I'm marinating less than an hour. Rub the marinade all over the pork and massage for about 2 minutes so that sauce can absorb its way to the meat. Traditionally, we use hong kok mai, ground red yeast rice for more red coloring, but I can't find it in any of the store here. I'm using this roast pork seasoning mix, which will give more color and extra flavor. Just sprinkle evenly on the pork, rub it over. Place the meat into a Ziploc bag. Pour the marinade sauce in. Push all the air out of the bag and seal it. Place the bag in the refrigerator and let the pork marinate for at least 8 hours or overnight. Try to flip the bag over in the middle of the progress. When it's ready, get rid of the aromatics from the meat before cooking to prevent burning. Strain out the aromatic spices from the marinade sauce. For oven roasting, preheat oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 degrees Celsius. Use aluminum foil to cover a cooking pan. Place a cooking rack on top to roast the meat evenly. Brush some oil on the rack. Roast for 30 minutes. Brush some marinade sauce on all sides. Then some maltose or diluted honey. I prefer maltose because it's not as sweet as honey. It also gives the glossy look to our char siu. You might need to heat your maltose for 30 seconds in a microwave if it's too tough. Flip the meat over and roast for 10 minutes. We apply marinade sauce and maltose on the meat again and roast for another 10 minutes. Turn to boil. Each side for 3 to 5 minutes or until the surface is slightly charred. Total baking time is 50 minutes. Broil time, it depends on your preference. When cooking in an air fryer, cook for 15 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 degrees Celsius. Brush some marinade sauce on all sides and maltose. Turn to 410 degrees Fahrenheit or 210 degrees Celsius. Flip the meat over to cook 5 more minutes. Brush the marinade sauce and maltose on the meat again. Cook for 3 more minutes. Let your char siu set for a few minutes before slicing them. Let's check on the one made by the air fryer. Look at that beauty there. Love the little charred edges. It is very satisfying watching a piece of char siu getting sliced. My knife just slices right through. So tender and juicy. Does this deserve a thumbs up from you? Go right ahead. The oven one is also so beautiful, delicious, and glistening. Look at that fatty, tender meat. Charred edges. How can you not be drooling right now? Now I truly understand why Mom used to say, 生嚿叉燒好過生你啦. Something funny Chinese parents used to scold their misbehaving children back in the days. Literally translated as, it is better to give birth to a piece of char siu than you. I hope you like my 2 ways of making authentic char siu today. Try my methods for a quick and easy air fryer version or oven if you're making bigger batches. Let me know how it goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more delicious recipes. 我哋下期再見啦，拜拜。